LL04, May 16, 2016 Emergency Supplemental to send to Congress. Had to come up with ideas. Raised $73 million. Realized early on that drugs was funding bad guys. Also realized can move space and therefore bad things. Unlike other agencies, DOD could move money very quickly. Had rapid and flexible disbursement and were not competing for kudos. Biggest enemy was DOD colleagues. OSD when got authorities and legislation didn't have to go back to seconds of state. Didn't have to go back to Congress to move money between programs and other agencies. B. 6, B. 7, C. Knew about special missions from Colombia. CENTCOM wouldn't read her in as didn't know her background. December 2001, J1, J2, JS and Deputy at CENTCOM. We don't do drugs. Secretary of Defense didn't want to hear anything from DASDCN at all. State Department was of the view that there was no way to work in area as there wasn't an effective Afghan government and CENTCOM was incompetent. So worked with UK. Existing authorities allowed us to do a lot. Eradication was not practical, not strategic, but had to be seen to be doing something. B. 6, B. C. Worked well together in Colombia. B. 6, B. 7, C. Close friends in DC. Would share budget details before going to OMB. All had good relations in Colombia, limit on staff and contractors. Had to work interagency and had strong ambassadorial lead. 2001/2 was the time and the cheapest time to do something on CN, but fighting with CENTCOM. Advised them to speak to Southcom regarding Colombia, but they wouldn't. DOD fundamentally didn't understand what getting involved in counter-narcotics entailed. Everyone was focusing on traditional roles. They would only talk to those in their battle space. From a DOD perspective, it was tactical, and about finding and killing Al-Qaeda. State Department didn't do strategic thinking. Warlords were only effective form of stability at the time, but US were schizophrenic about it. New people had different values, morality, were bad guys but didn't know how to deal with them. It was, one, inconsistent across agencies and within agencies. It lacked strategy of how to help Afghanistan transition to effective government. We were working with a dated model of post-war Europe and Japan. Could not be seen as someone running to embassy. There was no manual to handle situation, required pragmatism. Everyone had own agenda and CN was way down on the list. New people, new ideas, yet none having experience or knowledge of subjects. State slow and bureaucratic, doesn't have the right skills. Their goal is to check boxes and not to make any waves. Afghan interagency peace easier than USG interagency peace. GPI director was using money to benefit friends construction companies. No one wanted to know about corruption on GPI. Anadk and UNO DC were all about making UNO DC look good. For example, on the survey here was no reason why Anadk were leading the announcements, same with eradication figures. To be fair, Anadk only funded on one-year basis and voluntary contributions, therefore not about Afghans. No one wants to criticize UNO DC, US giving money to them, so can't criticize, and EU countries give funds to Anadk. Anadk wanted to run conferences and events. They were not thinking strategically. The numbers are a silly wild-assed guess. They are an important optic. INL at this stage not so bothered about the numbers due to Zerer's leadership. But limits to what he could achieve given the environment. Food Zone HFZ looked successful but didn't really understand effect and why. Thought it was a good idea but had short window of view, so wanted to extend to Kandahar. Russians were not interested in development. They wanted to kill bad guys, nothing from them for bad action, we will give you guns. 2. Believe KFZ would have worked with Wali Karzai but limited effect without him. Interdiction for political reasons, couldn't go after senior people for cross-cutting issue like counter-trafficking, need interagency central transfer fund, need someone in charge, can't be one of agencies. OND never got control of money, therefore no authority. No capacity. Need to bring in SMEs without dog in race. He who has the checkbook wins. Need independent part of executive massive amount of money and transfer money to agencies. Next time round SMEs 3 to 5 year contracts live in country with locals bring strategic and tactical experience. Look at third country nationals 3.